It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Krebs Coho, not cast. Welcome back to another Krebs Coho review. I don't even know what to call it, to be honest. If you guys have been following the channel, you would know that I have not posted a game up recently, and the due fact to that is because I have not been around Company Heroes for a little bit, and I'm just taking a little break from that just because I've managed to put out so many games recently, and you know, I just want a little bit of a break. And instead, what I've done in the meantime has I've actually been playing this game. So World of Tanks, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about it, and for the ones that don't know anything about it, this is going to be a sort of review cast, if you want to call it that. So this is World of Tanks. This game is just tanks, tanks, tanks galore. There is no infantry, there's no planes. It's just tanks from World War II and the battles that come out of it. So let's see, I'll just sign in. This is a free-to-play game that anyone can just pick up if they want to. Apparently I've got the wrong password. And here we go, I'm entering the game. This is a free-to-play game. Obviously, the way that the company makes money is that they offer some exclusive things and ways to speed up the grinding process by offering gold, which you can buy. And so if you guys look, I've already put in some money into this. I've bought a premium account, which has allowed me to get extra credits and extra experience, plus 50% of each, and also allows me to form a platoon with people and invite friends. So by default, this is quite kind of a feature that I want to talk about. By default, you cannot invite friends into the same game as you unless you have a premium account, which, to be honest, when I started this game, I was very annoyed about because I wanted to play with my flatmate. And I couldn't do that just because of this annoying feature, and I think it was so annoying that I was actually contemplating whether I should quit or not. Now then, I'm just going to change the volume slightly, a bit lower. Maybe that'll be okay, 14. And so I just said, okay, whatever, I'll put in some money and just try it. It was about £8.50 to try that out. In America, I believe that's something like $13. So not really that much, and it'll last you a month. And so I have that premium account, and I'll tell you guys what my initial impressions are so far. So I'll explain what everything is here on the top side and the bottom side. So the bottom side is all the tanks that you have at the moment. As you guys can see, I have 5 tanks, and I can expand that by using gold to buy more slots. So all these little nifty ways for them to make some money out of this game. And so I've got 5 tanks. These are all reasonably not high level, but they're not the first tanks that you start out with. It's sort of unfortunate. I've been playing this game for about 2 or 3 days now. So let's see, I'll take a look at what's in the thingamajig. So this is the garage, and the garage is just where you can take a look at your tank and just service it, for example. So the service place is where you can repair your tank if it gets destroyed in battle. You can also resupply it with ammunition, and you got all these different ammunitions. Some of them you can buy with silver, which is earned from battles, and some you can buy with gold. And naturally, this gold ones are a little bit better than the ones that you would normally have. And so each of these ammunitions do different things. For example, armor piercing is what you do for your generic sort of ammunition and trying to pierce guys with the most amount of damage. Now then, some things about this game is that some of these tanks are quite realistic in the fact that they have thicker armor, and so they're harder to penetrate. And likewise, different turrets have different amount of, I don't know, velocity, you could say, that they launch projectiles, and so they have different rates of penetration. And so this high explosive round is basically less penetration on it, so less likely to do the full damage, but because of that, it's pretty much guaranteed that you'll do a critical hit or damage the tank slightly. And so I'm just going to explain all of this quickly. If you're getting bored about this, you can skip a few minutes ahead, and I'll be doing some action, a bit of a battle, you could say. So these are all the tanks that I have. Let's take a look at a depot bar. This is where all you buy your upgrades and all that sort of nifty stuff. You have vehicles, your shells, your equipment that you can help make your tank better. Let's see, let's go into the store, and the store is where you can buy your tanks and whatnot. So these tanks can be quite expensive. Now look at this, this is Stug, your Yagged Panther, so all this stuff from Company of Heroes, but you have it in this game and you can actually use it, so pretty cool. You've got different sort of tanks. You've got all types, which is just everything. You have light tanks. So there you go, you got your tier 1 light tank. If you guys look at this one little bar, that's a tier 1 weak tank, the one that you initially start off with. You've got tier 2, tier 2, Tier 3, and so on and so forth. Some of these are premium tanks that you can buy with gold, which just allows you to get some bonus experience and credits when using them. So you got medium tanks, which are even heavier ones, heavy tanks, which are very thick, and all of these tanks have different bonuses. So the light tanks are much speedier, but they don't have as much as armor. These heavy tanks have a lot more armor, but they're not as speedy. Now, the tank destroyers are sort of like the campers of the game. If you're thinking about Call of Duty and you hate campers, well, this is the camping class, so to say. But rightly so. It seems kind of bad that you would have a camping class, but to be honest, you have so many different classes, and they each have their own role. The unfortunate thing about this game is it's not very noob friendly, and basically you're thrown into the deep end, and if you're a noob, you have to discover these things for yourself. So I was basically reading loads of wikis and loads of guides, and basically at first, for probably the first day, I was very frustrated, just being so weak, and I couldn't do anything, and I just didn't know why I was getting destroyed all the time. So it was a sort of a steep learning curve, just reading all these guides and getting the hang of the game. And now I actually very enjoy it. I find it very fun. It's like a chess game, but live action. Let's look at statistics, and here you can get medals for your tanks, also all these statistics of how many battles you've played, the victories, defeats, battles survived, so on and so forth. Tech tree, this is where you can get all your tanks. So if we see at the top 3 bars, there's USSR, there's Germany, and there's USA. So you have your 3 different factions. I bet they'll probably add the Brits in the future, and so on and so forth. Maybe Italy and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. I'm not very historic with my tanks, but these are all pretty cool. All of these tanks you've sort of seen in Company of Heroes. If you guys see what the tech tree looks like for the Germans, basically you've got your artillery tanks all along here, and if you look at the arrows, these are natural progression, so they go all the way down here. Likewise, you can go into your light and medium tanks, which basically separate into their own trees and so on and so forth. You've got your tank destroyers over here, your medium tanks, light tanks, whatever, so on and so forth. Different levels, obviously each of them cost different amounts of money, more expensive, takes a long time to get there. Right now I'm in the tank destroyer class, so I've got a Hetzer, and if you guys noticed, I said that the tank destroyers are sort of like the campers in this game. Now you're probably hating on me and wishing I would die for being a camper, but to be honest, I was actually going to go down these medium tank routes and light tank routes, but this is what I mean about the game. When you're a newbie and you're trying out these tanks, you get really frustrated, and you sort of wonder why you're being destroyed all the time, and why you can't penetrate anyone else. And so I was thinking, okay, maybe if I go for a tank destroyer route, maybe I'll have the bigger guns and I'll be able to penetrate tanks. And yes, that was the reason that I was looking for, and basically now I can penetrate tanks, I can actually take them on. But unfortunately, this means I'm sort of like a camper. I have to wait in the bushes and camouflage and wait. But to be honest, I wasn't even expecting that, and you know, now that I know it's like that, whatever, I'll live with it. It's actually quite fun. So every tank has a different role. Maybe in the future I'll keep on going down the route to the Yag Tiger, and then eventually I'll make my way down the heavy tanks. Now then again, there's USSR, complete different branches, USA, complete different branches. They all start off with the initial very weak tank, and by weak I mean these are very weak tanks. It's frustrating when you're absolutely new and you're playing with these very weak tanks. You can't even penetrate anyone, you can't take out anyone. Very frustrating stuff, and you die in one shot. In barracks, you have your commanders, and these commanders are basically, they do different things. You have your drivers, you have your commanders, you have your gun loaders, and so on and so forth, and they just help with doing that sort of function in your tank. And so basically they have training levels, and the higher they're trained, the more things they can do. Such as they can get a secondary skill once they reach 100%, so that can be extra camouflage, that could be repair your modules, or you know, sort of stuff like that. And you have to get them trained up to 100%. And likewise, as I was saying, commanders, gunners, as they get higher skill levels, they do these jobs faster and better. So very cool that you have that sort of stuff. Obviously good ways for them to make money in this game, but it's nice that they have these such features. So I think that's about it, explaining all that sort of stuff. If we just quickly look at the modules, so going on over to Hetzer, all this stuff, you gain it with experience. In battles you gain experience, free experience, and experience to distribute on your tank. And you use these to buy the modules, to unlock them anyway, and then you use your silver, so over here, to actually buy the modules and then mount them onto your tank to make them better. So there's all these different things. Not necessarily the more expensive modules are the better ones. So for example, if you want a very hard I don't know what to call it, very strong gun, so with lots of damage, you can go for it, but it's going to be very expensive. However, that means it might have a very slow fire rate. Likewise, while you might have a very cheaper gun, not as much damage, but it'll shoot a lot faster. So all these sort of things to consider. So I think that's about it. I think I'll just do a live game now. And here we are, jump into battle. About 30,000 players online, so you always get a game pretty much straight away. So this game right here, oh god, I was hoping to show you guys maybe a good game, but this looks like it might be a little bit difficult because there are some heavy tanks on the field. So this means I might have quite a hard job to penetrate them. However, there are more noobish ones, tier 3 tanks, that's one tier below me. I'm tier 4 with my Hetzer. So they'll be easy to take out one shot usually. I've got a very powerful gun, and this tank is not usually, when you first buy a tank, it's not upgraded, and it's actually quite weak, but I've managed to upgrade this quite a bit, so I'm decently fast. I can do that sort of stuff. Nice thing about this game is that there's so many different maps. You got a whole range of settings. You can play in the urban sort of maps, you can play on open fields, you can play in the freaking desert. And that's all historically accurate because you have those battles sort of there. This map is not tank destroyer friendly whatsoever because there's no bushes I can hide in, and there's just lots of openness and sort of narrow places, so I can't really do that much. I sort of got to be very careful what goes on here. But just letting you guys know, if I get destroyed, then it sort of sucks. But yeah, that's what's most likely gonna happen. I'm probably gonna get owned in this game, this round anyway. I had a round today where I actually took out 8 guys. So considering that there's about 15 players on a team, 8 guys is half the team, if, a little bit more than half. And so I was very happy with that. But likewise, you gotta be very careful. So if you guys, if there's going to be dull moments in this, I'm going to speed it up a little bit until I come to the more exciting moments of the replay or whatever, the cast, and then I'll continue casting there at normal speed. So if it becomes a little bit quiet, I'm just going to be a bit quiet and let the game speed on, and then when there's some action, I'll speak and slow the game down. So here we have a bit of an engagement. Some tanks are moving forward. One of my, I believe that's a tank destroyer, is moving forward, and so is a Leopard. That is a light tank. It's very fast. As you guys can see, it's very speedy, just going around there. And when you have these sort of speedy tanks, they're good for scouting for the artillery, because the artillery needs sight. Initially, you cannot see the people on the map unless you guys start to see them for real, like in front of you. And so that Leopard was taken out. I'm about to fire away. Oh, it looks like that tank was actually taken out before I managed to get my shot off. And whoa, just barely managing to dodge a shot there. I'm going to see what I can do. Maybe I can get a shot off. Here we go. Just behind there. And no, he just managed to shoot me before I managed to do anything. And this is not looking good for me. I'm badly damaged, and that's me taken out. So I'm gonna let this game pass, and I'll do one more cast because this is quite a bad example. I didn't even manage to kill anyone there, so if you guys bear with me and just give me a second, I'll cast another game. Okay guys, so this is gonna be a different game this time around, and it's gonna be on Westfield. So in that other game I got absolutely wrecked in the beginning, and that's just due fact because, as I was saying, in the urban maps, tank destroyers don't usually do as well, just because there's no place for them to hide, and that sort of stuff. So tank destroyers, they really need cover. The whole point of the Hetzers, if you guys know from Company of Heroes, is that they're sort of the camouflage units. In fact, they have their own camouflage ability in that game. And so the important thing about tank destroyers is that they need to find some sort of cover behind rocks, behind in bushes, that sort of stuff, so they get some sort of camouflage bonus. And so it's much harder for them to be seen or detected. And by doing that, you can obviously drag your person in closer to you, revealing their rear side, their side armor, and then it's much easier to take them out. So let's see this game. This is quite a easy match, it looks like. These are quite light tanks in comparison to mine, so it's going to be quite easy, I'd say. But let's see what's going to happen this match. So this map in Westfield, there's going to be, if you look at the bottom right hand corner, there's a mini map. And in this map, both teams are split up. So we're on the northern side, whilst our allies are on the southern side. And likewise, the opponent team, which is on the other side of the map, are split up as well. Now, there's 2 ways to win this: either eliminate everyone, or to capture their base. And so by capturing the base, you have to wait for the the timer to go up, whatever you want to call it, the amount of points, until you have been there long enough for the points to accumulate to 100, and so then you win. And so that's obviously 2 ways to win it, and so you gotta be a bit careful. Now here I need to be starting to get a little bit careful because I'm going to be coming up into the open. As you guys can see, there's quite a lot of physics in this game, and it's kind of difficult for me to go up hills because I slow down so much. Now there's a tank right up here because the red marker is just up there. There's 2 tanks in fact. If we move on a little bit forward, maybe I can see him, and yes, I do see him right there. And just a way to knock him out. Yep, I got him. So that was quite a big loss for him. 1 shot taking out that Martyr 2. The Martyr 2 is 1 skill level, you could say, below me, and so I've got a lot of a more powerful gun than he does, and so Pow Pow done a lot more damage to him, and so yeah, it's sort of iffy stuff that he just lost him himself that easily. But then again, that's the beauty about the tank destroyers. If you upgrade them, then they become quite powerful indeed. So I'm just hiding in a bush at the moment. The bushes will give you more of a cover bonus, and so it's harder for you to be seen. In fact, there's some games, I've got all these camouflage modules and bonuses on at the moment, that in some games I can literally be hiding in a bush and a guy will be maybe like 30 meters in front of me and he can't even see me. And that's absolutely spectacular. And oh my god, I'm being hit from somewhere. And oh my god, I have no clue what the hell is going on. I'm being absolutely destroyed. This guy came up behind me. This Hetzer came up behind me. I have no clue what happened there. I thought my teammates were supporting me on the backside, but looks like he managed to find me somehow, and I didn't manage to even see him at all. He came up behind me, struck my rear armor. That exposed myself to his allies, and then that's Armageddon was upon me. Well, I managed to take out 1 person, so at least that's mutual in my benefit to the team. So, oh well, I suppose that's that. Well, that is a very short battle, but these battles get very interesting, guys. I mean, if we switch on over to other people, these battles get very interesting. It's sort of like a live-action game of chess. There's, as you guys can see, this is a light tank. It's being very speedy, and the Hetzer cannot manage to even target this tank because he has to rotate his whole body, and he's just too slow to even do that. As you guys can see, the light tank. So all these little nitty-gritty things, but it's really nice. Just the fact that each tank has their own role is absolutely great. And this tank, as you guys can see, was backing up to try and avoid this light tank, and I believe they're both quite speedy. So as you guys can see, this tank over here was knocked out from an artillery strike from miles away. Now these tanks, the light ones, are usually scouts, and they scout out for the artillery so that the artillery can shoot away from far away, because the artillery tanks are very lightly armored, they're easy to destroy, and so when they're when they got sight from the scouts, then they can launch their artillery attacks from far away and do massive damage. So I like that sort of stuff. Everybody has a different role, right? So I'm just gonna see what else happens here. This tank is closing in on another light tank, so this could be kind of iffy. Just managed to dodge that strike there, but he looks like he's gonna be following him in pursuit around the building. This is the nice thing about this. There's so much cover, you can even blow up these buildings and also the fences, so using your cover to your own advantage. So these tanks are playing some cat and mouse at the moment. I just want to see what happens here. If you look on the left hand side and the right hand side, that shows you the tanks, and we are losing badly. We've only got 4 tanks alive, whilst they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 tanks alive, I believe, or am I counting that wrong? 9 tanks alive. So they are beating us by 5. Ooh, no, that can't be. I don't know, maybe they're beating us by 4 or 5. I can't exactly count. I need to put my finger on the screen, but my screen is too far away. So they're leading by quite a bit, and so that's going to be quite a strain on us. Now, the nice thing about this is that there's modules on the tank, such as the treads, such as the gunners, and stuff like that. And if you manage to, say, destroy the treads, then the tank can't move. Likewise, you could just damage it, and then they become a lot slower to move. So 24% left, and this tank is taken out. Not managing to take out this Panzer III over here. So that is the game, I suppose you could say. That was my review, and hope you guys enjoyed the little battle cast. Being a newbie, if you're gonna play this game, my last summary thing that I want to say, being a newbie, you need to stick into this a bit. The initial tanks, T1, T2, even T3, can be very painful to play. You might be thinking, why am I getting destroyed so early? Why am I not damaging anyone or killing anyone. And the thing is, you gotta read up guides and learn how to play these certain tanks. Each tank has a different role, and maybe you're just playing it wrong. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and well, I'll be doing some co-cast soon, so see you guys then. This is Krebs Go. Have a nice day.